Look, times are tough. Inflation is high, people are losing their jobs, salaries just aren't able to afford what they used to, and it seems like a lot of people are looking at their expenses to understand what they actually need and what they really don't and where they're wasting money. In fact, a study by Bankrate found that 47% of US adults have said that money or finances have had a negative impact on their mental health. And frankly, that's not that surprising with how bad the economy is right now. A different study by Debt.com found that an astonishing 89% of American families do have a budget, but 44% of those don't even have $1,000 in a bank account in case of an emergency. This hints at the idea that even though people are creating budgets, which is definitely a good thing, they either are not following their budgets properly or they're not creating the budgets the right way in the first place. And frankly, I'm guilty of this. You're probably guilty of this too, right? Because it's great to write down a budget, but at the end of the day, when it's, Thursday after work, you're very tired, you're very hungry, and you really don't want to cook, a pizza is just a phone call away. And it's really hard to not make that phone call, and you really shouldn't, but usually you do.
Guilty as charged.
Which made me think, I wonder how my AI assistant Tiara would advise people to not only create a budget, but actually stick to it. So I asked her, "Hey Tiara, I've been trying to create a budget for my household that works, and so far I haven't been successful. What would you recommend I do to create a budget that actually works?"
I'd love to help you figure out a budget. The first thing you need to do is figure out how much money you're actually bringing in each month. This means listing every single source of income you have. Do you have a side gig or some passive income? It needs to be included. Every source of income needs to be clearly defined here to get this right, so take your time to think it through. From there, you should grab your bank statements or use a budgeting app to track your expenses. Break them down into categories like groceries, rent, utilities, and yes, even that morning coffee run.
This is the most important part of the budgeting process. So generally speaking, it's a good idea to take 2 to 3 months of bank statements and look at them and look at your earnings and look at your expenses and categorize them properly. And when you do this, a quick hint, I highly, highly recommend that you take note of any subscriptions that you have, because I feel like it's very, very easy to overlook those. So make sure you take special note of those. It's also worth noting that if you don't want to write this into a spreadsheet, and that's just not your thing, you can get the app You Need a Budget, which is in the description below. It's a very, very popular budgeting app that has a very generous 34-day trial, so you can basically see if the software is right for you. Now, it's important to note, they didn't sponsor this video or anything.
God knows I wish they did.
It's just a really good app. But if you do use in the link below, I appreciate that. Maybe they'll notice me. We'll see what happens. Next, Tiara wanted to discuss creating goals, which in my opinion is really the foundation of any budget. Because when you have goals, you have consequences for when you blow the budget. So this is what Tiara had to say.
Setting financial goals is like giving your budget a roadmap. Think about what you want to achieve in the next few months. Maybe it's saving up for a new phone or finally paying off that credit card. Those are your short-term goals. Then, dream a little bigger. What about buying a house or retiring early? Those are your long-term goals. When setting your goals, be specific and realistic. Instead of just saying, "I want to save money," try, "I want to save $800 for a new iPhone in the next 6 months."
I think the idea of making goals like this very specific is actually crucial to the whole thing. Because when you have a dollar amount that you want to reach, or even a thing that you want to buy, and you have a timeline for, how long you want to wait to get there, basically makes it a lot easier to look at that goal and then just work backwards and say, okay, if I want X amount of dollars by this date, all I have to do is save Y amount of dollars for this many months in a row, and you can get right to your goal. So for instance, in the example that Tiara gave, if you wanted to get a brand new iPhone, you know that it costs $800. And if you divide that by 6 months, you know that you need to save $134 per month to hit that goal in 6 months. From here, Tiara dove into budgeting methods, which I have to be honest, I totally nerd out about. So I thought it was a really good section.
To make your budgeting work, it's all about finding a method that suits you. Let's look at a couple of popular options. First up is the zero-based budget. With this method, you assign every dollar a job until you're left with zero. It sounds intense, but it's great for keeping track of every penny. Then there's the 50-30-20 rule. This one's a bit more laid back. You spend 50% of your income on needs, 30% on wants, and save 20%. It gives you a nice balance between saving and spending.
And there are a ton of budgeting methods, but these are definitely the two most popular ones. In fact, remember the You Need a Budget app that I had mentioned earlier? That app actually uses the zero-based budget method. And as Tiara mentioned, it sounds really intense, assigning a job for every single dollar, but once you get into the swing of things, it's actually pretty easy to do. So from here, you should have a solid foundation and idea on how to get a budget started. But that's definitely not where it ends, because as we all know, the expenses and income, those change all the time. So how do you handle that? Well, this is what Tiara had to say.
Remember, your budget isn't set in stone. Life happens. Cars break down, unexpected bills pop up, or maybe you get a bonus at work. It's important to review and adjust your budget regularly. This flexibility helps you stay on track without getting discouraged. I'd advise anyone who is taking this seriously to open up the app every single day on their smartphone or computer and categorize any changes as they happen. From there, it's good to reevaluate every 1 to 2 weeks to make sure the budgeting goals and targets you have are realistic.
For me, I have my budget open every single morning when I open up Google Chrome on one of the tabs. And if you're at a computer all day, or most of the day, like a lot of people are, then just make it one of your opening tabs. It's one of the easiest ways to make sure that you're looking at it every single day. Next, Tiara wanted to discuss how to stay on track, which personally, I think is probably one of the most important parts of the entire process.
Let's dive deeper into how to stay on track with your budget. This is a crucial part of budgeting because even the best plans can fall apart without consistent effort and monitoring. So I have 5 important rules to follow. Set regular reminders. Schedule weekly or monthly reminders to review your budget. This helps keep your financial situation fresh in your mind and allows you to make timely adjustments if needed. Next, automate savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account. This ensures that you're consistently saving without having to think about it each month.
This is actually one of the best ideas if you aren't great at saving yourself. And I've actually mentioned this app before on the channel. There's an app that can really help with this, and it's called Acorns. And no, they didn't sponsor the video, but they have helped me save about $38,000 in an account by using their method. So I definitely have to give them a shout out. So Acorns does an amazing job in helping people save automatically, which is what I really, really like about it, right? So basically what you do is you hook up a debit card or a credit card to it, and every time that you make a purchase, it will essentially take the money, whatever you spent, it'll round it up to the nearest dollar, and then it'll take that amount and put it into an Acorns account and invest it for you. So if you had an account and tomorrow morning you went to Starbucks and got a coffee for $5.13, it would then round that up to 87 cents, take your 87 cents, put it into the Acorns account and automatically invest it for you without you thinking. It's all done automatically. Now the best part is if that money is accumulating and 6 months down the road, you really need the money for an emergency or something, it's no problem. You can take it out pretty easily, and also it only costs $3 per month. Now if you think that this app sounds good and it'd be interesting for you, I'd really appreciate if you use my affiliate link that is in the description below. All you gotta do is click on that and you can sign up. When you do, and you actually deposit money, you'll get $5 and I'll get $5 as a thank you. So obviously I appreciate that.
I'm giving away free money.
Anyway, let's get back to the recommendations.
Use cash for discretionary spending. Consider using cash for categories where you tend to overspend, like dining out or entertainment. When the cash runs out, you know it's time to stop spending. Next, track daily spending. Keep a close eye on your daily expenses to understand your spending habits better. This awareness can help you make more informed decisions and avoid impulse purchases.
I think that especially when starting out, that looking at this daily is such an important thing to do. Because when you look at it daily, all your mental headspace and all of your focus and concentration, you're seeing it over and over. Because of that, you're much less likely to cheat on the budget or overspend. And I recommend that you do this for at least 30 days to kind of build up a habit and really make sure that you're really, really focused on it. Now let's see the last recommendation that Tiara mentioned to stay on track.
Get an accountability partner. Find someone who can check in on your financial goals with you. This could be a friend or family member who also wants to improve their finances.
For most married folks or people that are in really serious relationships, it seems like this conversation is kind of a no-brainer. It benefits both of you to do this right. So having your loved one as an accountability partner is definitely a good idea. Now, if you aren't in a relationship or don't have a significant other, that's fine. Talk to your friends or your family. Just talk to someone and see if they'd be willing to check in with you once a week at the end of every week or something like that to see how things are going. And in my opinion, just a quick little hint, I would highly recommend that you partner with somebody that you would consider financially financially successful, because I think that they're much more likely to take this serious and understand that you're trying to better yourself, and hopefully they'll really support you. And it's likely that if those people are financially responsible, they probably have an emergency fund, which is definitely a good topic for you to understand as well. And if you're looking to understand that particular topic, you can click on this video right here, which goes over it. Or if you're not interested and just want to watch my most recent video, click right here. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like so YouTube will recommend it to more people. And as always, make sure that you subscribe to unlock financial success one AI chat at a time. See you in the next one.